Welcome back in. We're the Meltdown here, giving you sort of a horror cheat sheet going into Halloween. We are so close to the spookiest holiday of the year, and it's got a lot of people jonesing to watch some really terrifying cinema. We're here to tell you what we've enjoyed most from this year. Maybe some things you've missed, maybe some things you've seen. You can let us know in the comment section below whether you agree with our list or you disagree. Tyler, are you ready to get this experiment underway?
I'm ready. We have both seen plenty of horror movies, so we got a lot to choose from today.
You've seen a whole lot of bad ones too, but
I
we're
have.
going to have to save that for another time because this is the best of the best we're getting to here from 2024. All right, I'm going to start off. We're each going to give 8 picks this year. We've seen a lot of horror. Number 8 for me, I'm starting with a movie called The Substance. It's currently in theaters right now at the time of this recording. It is, in my opinion, the grossest movie of the year. Not the movie that grossed the most this year, but the movie that grossed out its audience probably the most this year. It's one of those movies where the imagery has really stuck with me. I've been told it's very relatable for female audiences. I am not a female, obviously, but I found it to be very uncomfortable and it will test the resolve of really any type of audience member. I think it's got great performances, but it's got an even better tone in its first 2 acts. If this movie had stuck the landing, I think it would have been much higher on my list, but that 3rd act tests you maybe a little bit too much. All right, gonna get into number 7 on my list. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Still in theaters. Came out in September. It has a digital download available for about 20 bucks if you want to watch this thing at home. The juice is indeed loose as Michael Keaton still has the magic needed to make this comedically sinister character work all these years later. The supporting, mostly returning cast is really helpful at making most of the on screen setting. And this movie has been way better when it comes to its musical numbers than anything we saw in Joker 2. I wasn't ever even a huge Beetlejuice fan. Going into this one, it felt more like homework having to go see it rather than wanting to go see it. But this one has me excited for a potential third entry in the franchise. And if you haven't seen this one yet by chance, I do recommend it as being a spooky film this season. And it really, I think, tests the limit. It tests the limit of what a PG-13 movie can get away with for
Definitely.
sure. Terrifier 3 is in the number 6 spot for me. It is still in theaters right now. The king of comedically sinister characters has another entry that's enthralled gore hounds and really pulls no punches with a Christmas themed outing that has finally made me a believer in the power of Art the Clown and his famed final girl, Sienna. This is a movie that actually, if you decide to hold back and wait till Christmas to watch, I don't blame you. I was going to do that. I really wasn't in the Christmas spirit yet, and Art the Clown sort of pushed me in that direction here. This is a movie that will obviously be available for digital download when we get closer to Christmas. Who knows? It may get a theatrical re release when we get closer to Christmas, but it is a movie available to see in the theaters right now. It's an underdog that delivered the knockout punches needed to the studio system. It's been rewarding its fan base with an enhanced experience throughout every entry in the franchise. I think this is easily the best Terrifier movie, and I'm happy to be along for the ride that is the Terrifier series with a fourth one potentially on the way very, very soon. For number 5 on my list, I went with Immaculate. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this movie. I think Sydney Sweeney gives a great leading performance in a movie that I feel stands mostly on its own while leaning on some of the tropes of the creepy nun subgenre of cinema. I think this film is effectively violent, suspenseful, and sinister, and definitely gives you a feeling that the walls are closing in on the main protagonist as well as you during its runtime. It's available right now to stream on Hulu, so very low risk to maybe try it out for yourself. But I think Sydney Sweeney's Immaculate is one worth watching. For number 4, this is one that I do not expect to see on Tyler's list, but for me, I really enjoyed it. It's Long Legs. If you like Silence of the Lambs, this is about as close as you're going to get to the 2024 version of it. Nicolas Cage is creepy as hell in this movie, and I love the supporting performances that help create such a tense and unsettling experience throughout the runtime. There's such an underlying feeling of dread and danger as FBI agent Lee Harker tries to piece together both her professional and personal life using her special skills to hone in on a serial killer that may have more at his disposal than originally expected. I saw this in a sold out matinee showing and absolutely loved the cinematic cat and mouse style investigation, and I do recommend this one. I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much on a second watch as I did the first time with a packed house watching this thing, but it is available on digital for a little less than $10 if you act right
as
now.
well as a limited theater release with a special sneak preview at Osgood Perkins' next movie, The Monkey.
The Monkey is going to be one that's hyped up because Longlegs was such a crowd favorite and really overperformed on every level this year. For me, the number 3 pick goes to The First Omen. The biggest negative that I can say about this one is the fact that Immaculate came out during the exact same time frame. While I really, really liked both movies, this one felt more grounded in its period piece setting to me, and I felt the imagery was much more unsettling. The body horror in this piece is presented in the most realistic of ways. There are things I saw in this movie that still stick with me, and I think it does a great job of being a prequel that actually enhances the 1976 introduction of Damien in a way that is satisfying. I love the cinematography of this picture and really do wish more people would give it a chance. It kind of got buried in the spring, and I'd love for more people to check it out here in the spooky season. It is also on Hulu, shockingly, just like Immaculate, a movie that people constantly confuse for one another there. Number 2 on my list. This is a movie I was so excited for the minute I heard about it. It is Late Night with the Devil, also available on Hulu. Hulu's killing it with where you need to go to watch all of these different movies. I absolutely adore this movie. As a kid, I was obsessed with Johnny Carson and his ability to dominate the late night landscape for as long as he did. Johnny Carson actually a looming titan of broadcasting in multiple movies this year, where beating him in programming remains a central struggle, the other being Saturday Night about the first SNL. Johnny Carson, is he this year's cinematic villain? Is he the cinematic Thanos of 2024? Who knows? But in this one, Jack Delroy's looking to finally break through and topple The Tonight Show in the ratings, and he's willing to potentially sacrifice everything to achieve it. I love the performances we get in this one throughout the entire film and highly recommend you watch this one on Halloween night if given the opportunity. You will know why once you see the movie, but Late Night with the Devil is great. And this is the biggest surprise for me is it's not number 1. What is number 1 for me? Alien Romulus. It's available digital for around $30. I would have told you going into this year that there was a near 0% chance that Alien Romulus would have been not only my favorite horror movie of the year, but also my favorite overall movie of the year. Yet here I am continuing to sing its praises. Man, I love what Fede Alvarez did to make this movie feel like it belongs right there between Alien and Aliens while paying respect to every movie in the franchise, being, in my opinion, the first to successfully bridge the gap with the polarizing prequel of Prometheus, a movie that I really liked, by the way, to where we are in the time frame now. David Johnson gives my favorite on-screen performance of the year in Andy, and they've just announced that sequel is being produced. A sequel to Alien Romulus is in production with much of the same team. This movie is genuinely scary, scenic, and suspenseful. I hope that younger fans that maybe see this one first can go back and enjoy the others in an inspiring way. Alien Romulus was the real deal for me, and I'm so happy that I saw it on the big screen. I highly recommend it. All right, Tyler, we're going to see how much overlap there is, starting with your number 8.
We've got some overlap, but not a whole lot because I have gone deep into the horror genre this year, starting off with number 8, a movie that most people didn't see, most people probably don't even know exists. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I love my goofy B horrors, and this is the cream of the crop this year when it comes to goofy B horror. You've got Winnie the Pooh and all his 100 Acre Wood friends going on a rampage against Christopher Robin, and it's exactly what I bought a ticket for, and that's exactly what you get. It's funny when you're not expecting it, and at the end of the day, if you're looking to have people over, you don't want to play the scariest movie possible. Play something kind of relaxed, just kind of laid back and silly, and everybody will have a great time. And I think that's why people should go check out Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, as well as the rest of the upcoming Pooniverse. Moving on to number 7, we've got a movie I was actually dreading its release. Every time the trailer played, I would say, I think I might as well just go ahead and grab a bathroom break, grab a drink, grab a snack. It's Speak No Evil with James McAvoy. I was actively trying to find a way out of watching this movie, and I said, I'll give it a shot. I'll report back to Tim so he can know to avoid it." And I walked out absolutely loving it. This is incredibly suspenseful. James McAvoy gives a performance that's on par in terms of the menacing nature of it with his role in Split, which I love. And it is just incredibly dreadful the whole way through. And I was absolutely surprised when the movie ended that I enjoyed it as much as I did.
I still haven't seen it.
It's worth a watch, Tim. It's worth a watch. But a movie that we both saw, number 6 on my list, Maxine, the third installment of the Mia Goth X trilogy. I thought this was one of the better films in that trilogy. It really captures the 80s slasher feel to it, and you get a lot of cool references to the Universal backlot and all the properties on that. And so if you're a big movie nerd, Universal Monsters nerd like me, you'll find a ton of love there for what you care about. And also, Mia Goth's performance is just great. She is a modern day scream queen. Moving on to number 5, a movie we share on our list, Terrifier 3. I really liked this, was not expecting to. Terrifier 1 was almost unbearable to watch. Terrifier 2 was a good step up, and Terrifier 3 just makes major leaps and bounds in the right direction for the franchise. We've got some more fleshed out characters. We have higher production values, so you don't feel like you're watching something that you just really shouldn't be watching. You're actually watching a real movie. And Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, his nonverbal acting throughout the film is just top notch. Does such a great job of breaking the tension. And that's why everyone has gravitated to him as a character, as a new slasher icon.
Totally with you.
Moving on, number 4, I don't believe you've seen this yet. Smile 2.
I have not.
Another movie I wasn't expecting to like. I begrudgingly watched Smile 1 and thought, "Yeah, that was alright. I'll go watch Smile 2." And Smile 2, although it has a lot of the same story beats, they've got the roadmap, and so they can execute it really, really well. I wasn't expecting the acting from Naomi Scott in this performance as the pop star Sky Riley to be as good and as believable as it was, but she kills it in this role. Uh, Great job at screaming, great job at acting paranoid and like she's going crazy. It's just a great movie. It has some of the best jump scares I've ever seen in a horror movie. It does such a great job of misdirecting you even when you're looking for it.
I,
And
I am definitely going to see this one. I'm looking very forward to it. And the more you talk about it, the more excited I get.
I mean, this satisfied and exceeded my expectations on every level. Every level. And the music's actually pretty good in this, unlike a lot of movies that have featured music. Joker
Gotcha.
Folie à Deux.
Gotcha.
Moving on, number 3, taking the bronze medal for my horror movies of 2024. It's one that's barely a horror movie. It's Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I am a major fan of the original, and so I was anxiously awaiting this movie. And after walking out, it's a lot of fun. It's not as good as the original, but it is a lot of fun. Michael Keaton just seems to be having a blast reprising his role as Beetlejuice. I thought that Jenna Ortega was a great addition to the franchise. Catherine O'Hara, absolute standout in that movie. She is having a blast playing Miss Deets in that movie. She I she embodies the character. She picks it up right where that character left off and ramps it up. It's amazing. Winona Ryder was great as Lydia Dietz as well, but the standout in that movie has to be Shrunkenhead Bob. We all love him. You see, you're chuckling. You know,
Yeah.
we love Shrunkenhead Bob over here.
I'd like to dedicate this piece actually to Shrunken Head Bob. That's what I would like to do.
All right, quick moment of silence for our fallen friend Shrunkenhead Bob.
All right. I love
All
it.
right, moving on to the silver medal, the runner-up for horror movies of 2024. Late Night with the Devil. Tim,
So
I
good.
didn't know this movie existed until you just thrust your phone in my hands and said, "Watch this trailer, you will like this movie." I watched the trailer and I said, "Well, this looks pretty good," as, someone in production, and it delivers on all the production anxieties and your horror anxieties as well. Just the way the story unfolds is so great. It just drip feeds you these little details where you're always on the edge of your seat, looking for the next thing to go wrong, and also just waiting to see if the broadcast actually goes right. And I think they just knocked it out of the park, delivering that feeling. Moving on, number one horror movie on my list. It is Alien Romulus. It is not just the number one horror movie for me this year. It's number 3 overall as of this recording, and I can make an argument for it being number 2. This is a near perfect Alien film. After I walked out, I thought, do I wanna rate that 5 stars? It can't. There's no such thing as a perfect movie, but this feels like a perfect movie. David Johnson, like you said, Tim, just gives a world class performance as Andy. I thought Kaylee Spaney did a great job as
Yeah.
well, and a lot of cool throwbacks to all of the different installments throughout the franchise. It is a movie for Alien fans, or if you're just looking to get into the franchise. I think this executes a lot of the ideas across the Alien franchise extremely well and would do a great job of bringing people into it,
We do have a lot of crossover on our list. Most importantly, we both share our top 2 spots with the same 2 movies in the exact same order there. So I don't think you can go wrong with Alien Romulus or Late Night with the Devil as sort of the consensus pick from both of us of 2 different styles of horror movie,
for sure.
but very effective at what they do. So, Tyler, great list there. And, there's obviously a couple of movies we wish would have made this list. I'll throw out just one movie that I was very excited for that just didn't live up to that potential, and that's In a Violent Nature. I
Oh,
said we wouldn't get into most disappointing, but I've heard some people championing that movie around this time of year. I do feel like these are better movies to spend your time with that we've both gone over at this point than In a Violent Nature.
we're
But
both looking forward to Strangers Chapter 1 as well, and we're both just horribly, horribly disappointed with that.
my favorite movie of the year is a horror movie. My least favorite movie of the year is a horror movie, and that's Strangers Chapter 1. So, all you Tamaras out there, you can enjoy these other movies. Stay in, lock the doors. Should be a good time this Halloween season for sure. As you take a look at our lists, we also want you to take a look at my bookie, our title sponsor. You can use promo code next round for a first time deposit bonus, cash out and win, or let it ride at my bookie. Bet and play absolutely anything, anytime, anywhere, only with my bookie. Don't play around with your time and your money. Don't waste those things. Listen to us here on the Meltdown. We're here to help you. We will do the heavy lifting and watch as much as we possibly can and then share those recommendations with you. And that's exactly what we've done here, approaching October 31st with our best horror movies 2024. Make sure you like and subscribe.